What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Virzi Effect podcast show. My name is Paul Virzi. Excuse me. My name is Paul Virzi, and you guys listening to episode 577. And as you can see, guys, I am flying solo for the first time in a long time. Some people ask me, Paul, when are you going to be back in studio? I got to get these lights right. I'm sorry. It's been a while. I think the lights are okay. Probably should not do this while recording. Maybe that's better. There we go. Move the light up a little bit. All right. I hope everybody is doing well. Happy to be back here doing this alone for the first time. Before I get into the episode, I want to thank everybody. All the Virzi Effect listeners, new and old, the Virzi Effectors from the gate to the new ones. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, listening. You know, the show adapted as times changed, and we are in studio in New York City. I told you we were going to be transitioning over to that podcast. I never heard that one before, but I want to thank all you guys for subscribing, and I want to thank all of my great guests. I'm going to keep doing that. This one was kind of like a Memorial Day week, just solo. People said, hey, man, how about throwing a solo for old time's sake? That's what I'm doing here. I want to say, if you guys love the Virzi Effect and you're new to the Virzi Effect and you keep watching it, please like, share, subscribe, get the Virzi Effect anywhere you get your podcast, iTunes, Spotify. The show is constantly growing. And now that we're in studio in New York, the show is really going to another level. We were already doing everything audio, listeners, but now we're getting a bunch of YouTube people and people watching online, and I can't thank you guys enough for that. Some cool stuff to talk about on the show. Like I said, this is kind of just like an update show. This is a bonus Virzi Effect, even though it's a regular episode, and I'll be back in studio with some guests coming up here real soon. Guys, I want to thank everybody who's come out too. Okay. I know I'm making announcements at the beginning of the show, but that's what I wanted to do too. I wanted to personally thank you all. It's hard to do this as personal, I should say, when I have a guest sitting next to me. But I want to thank every single one of you guys who listen to the show, who come out and see me perform live on the Level Up tour. It's been amazing. So many people came out to see me in Connecticut. So many people came out. We sold out Pittsburgh. We sold out Chicago. New York City was packed out. So I can't thank you guys enough. We have more dates coming, and I want to announce those dates right now before I get started into the podcast, and then we will dive right into this. But if you are in or around the Indianapolis area, I will be doing one night only next Wednesday, a week from today. Okay, I will be doing Helium in Indianapolis, one night, one show only. I don't know what to expect. It's a Wednesday, so get in there, guys. Get your tickets. I can promise you guys this. This is the best hour I've ever done. This is the best I've ever been, and I'm having so much fun. Look at the reviews of the tour. Listen to what people are saying, but it's been great. The next night, June 1st, one night, one show only, Cleveland, Ohio. I'll be at Hilarities. Get in the building and get your tickets. Cannot wait to bring this hour to that city as well. Then we have the theater in Northern Idaho. That's right, guys. I said it. Northern fucking Idaho. I don't know what to expect. I'm going to Sandpoint, Idaho, guys. Okay, so if you're in the Spokane area, drive out, tell your friends. One show in the Pineda Theater. I'm doing the Pineda Theater Thursday night in Sandpoint, Idaho. That is June the 8th. Then I am flying from Idaho to the great state of Georgia to perform in Atlanta Punchline. That's right, 9 through 11 of June. Then 15 through 17, I am in Tampa, Florida at Side Splitters. Comedy Club in Tampa, one of the best rooms in the country. And then at the end of the month, the 28th, I'm doing one night at the Houston Improv in Texas and the next night at the Addison Improv in Texas on the 29th. There you go. Go to paulvirzi.com for tickets. Get in there. Enjoy yourself. I promise you, you will enjoy yourself. And more dates are coming. So go to paulvirzi.com for all that. Obviously, check out Nocturnal Admissions on Netflix. There you go, guys. Okay. I do Bone to Pick podcast. Shout out to the new Bone to Pick podcast with Bobby Kelly, which is crushing it. And me and Bill Burr are back doing anything better. The Virzi effect is bigger than better than ever. So thank you. Now that we got all that shit out of the way, now we're going to go into some advertisers. Okay. Ace Hardware. I'm kidding. Imagine I just did this whole thing was just announcements and I was like, that's episode 577, everybody. No, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I am shot. And the only way to get a podcast out this week and then get back into the studio was I was glad you guys were asking for solos because I was like, you know what? I'm home. I got the studio. Let's do a solo. But holy shit, my last week, you ever have one of those weeks where you're just like, what's happening to time? I don't know what's going on with time right now. Okay. I was in Raleigh, North Carolina. Shout out to everybody who came out in Raleigh. Shout out to everybody that came out in Charlotte last week. I have not been down there in such a long time. All right. I have not been to North Carolina since years before 2016. Okay. And I did Raleigh on Wednesday. I did Charlotte on Thursday, then flew out for a wedding, met my wife at LAX Friday. We drove up north, California to wine country. Shout out to the producer of the show, guys. You know him. You love him. Andrew Themeles, the Greek freak. We go to Paso Robles for Andrew Themeles and his lovely wife's wedding. We get to LAX. We rent a car. All right. But guys, it's a little rant here. I'm going to get into how lovely the wedding was. And it was very nice to do the road in North Carolina and then fly to California and meet my wife at her gate at LAX for us to go away for the weekend and have some time together. Okay. But guys, LAX, first of all, I'm sorry to say, LAX, one of the shittiest, most packed, shittiest airports in the country. It's just an absolute nightmare, number one. Number two, when you want to rent a car in California, which you pretty much have to do because you can't Uber everywhere because it's so far. Some places you got to be 45 minutes. Some places you got to be an hour. Some places you got to go here. You got to go there. There's your parking issues, all that stuff. So you got to rent a car. So what does that mean? The rent a car places is packed. Guys, I am not kidding you. My wife and I, we get to the airport. We're done the flight. We had a great flight and we meet each other and it's great and easy. And we're like, oh, let's just go downstairs. We'll go to ground transportation. We'll take the shuttle to rent a car place. We go to Avis Rent a Car. So the Avis shuttle comes because the shuttle of each rent a car place is what, so if you have Hertz, you wait for the Hertz shuttle. If you have Enterprise, so we had Avis, we waited for the Avis shuttle. We get on, see a couple of other couples on there. Everybody's, this is great. We're about to get our car. We pull up to Avis, okay? We pull up to Avis, and the look on everybody's face as you pulled up, the shit was a roller coaster line at Six Flags Great Adventure. It looked like everybody in the state of California had to rent a car. When I tell you, wrapped around the entire Avis outside, and we're going, oh my God, dude, we got to drive 3 hours up north and we got to wait to get it. And we're all excited. We're renting some like Jeep with that you could go down on the Pacific coast and have one of those great, movie type drives where your fucking hair's blowing in the wind and you're looking at the ocean. I know I don't have hair. Fuck you. My wife's got hair. All right. So we're all excited about this and we're looking forward to this. And this line is around the fucking building. So we wait and we're talking to this other couple from New York. They were from Long Island and they're like, wow, this is crazy. An hour goes by and we finally get to the door. And guess what? Guess what happens when you get to the door? We looked in the window and they had the tape around, and it just went, it was another line. That snake line, you know, where they have you go around and this and that. 5 different lanes. So when you get in, you think you're out of the woods. You think, oh my God, we're done. We're going to get our keys. We're going to get in our Jeep Wrangler Sahara, and we're going to have a beautiful ride. It was only an hour, not that bad. No. You get there, you get in, and it's another 45 minutes. Then we finally get to the agent, and she goes, oh, that Jeep Wrangler. Hold on, I got to call for clearance on this one or find one. And we're standing at her for 10 minutes. I mean, it was, and then we drove, and it was a beautiful drive up to Paso Robles, who I say, anybody, if you get a chance to go up there and do wine tasting or hang out, I mean, this was like a beautiful, beautiful spot. We didn't go as high as like Napa Valley or anything like that, but this was so beautiful. Shout out to Andrew Themeles again, man. The wedding was great. It felt like when you were there, it just felt like you were in a movie. I'm not going to lie. The sun was beaten down heavy, but the wedding was prepared. They gave everybody, like, you know, those little umbrellas that are in drinks. They gave human size of those umbrellas so people can be in the shade until the sun went down. Then the sun went down and everything was great. The wine was great. The friends, I mean, dude, to be at this wedding and to have, you know, all your friends there and people that you really love and care about. And by the way, they did it classy. They did it classy. All right. Just want to talk about weddings for a second. They had the people that they just loved that had to be there. It was like 60 people. It was fucking perfect. This whole thing of like family and extended family. Oh, then you got to invite, you know, Jessica's friend because she's been in her life forever. And that's the only person she goes to these things with, the blah, blah, blah. None of that shit. It was 60 people. It was perfect. It was not traditional. They did it their way. They said their vows. They did it their way. They did a lot of cool things that I really liked. There's no, you know, there was no DJ. It was just a playlist of their favorites. It was one of the coolest things. It was like a playlist of their favorite songs from different decades just going. And you're like, oh, I love this song. I love this song. And they put a little dance floor out there for people if they wanted to, but it wasn't like, all right, let's get the groom's family. It wasn't none of that shit. All right. And let's be honest, I'm not trying to be disrespectful here. I might have talking about this on an older TVE before, but can we be honest? A DJ that calls people out and like has to hype up the crowd and people doing the chicken dance and the Macarena and fucking human limbo and all that shit. It's an absolute sin. What are you doing? Literally, what are you doing? Really? Really, I want to see an 85-year-old guy with a replaced hip try to do the Macarena because he thinks he's cool. Then it snaps and he's outside in the lobby. You know, they got to get a wheelchair for him and it's a mess. Stop it. Stop it. You let the people sit and hang out and eat and have coffee and dessert and good conversation. If you want to get up and dance, you go and dance. This whole thing of like, we're not letting you get away with it this time. Get out on the dance. Get them. Get them out here. That's the dumbest shit. They didn't do any of that. Thank God. There were no glow sticks. It was great. It was just a great wedding. There was no fucking stupid shit. The chapel was this tiny chapel that was so cool and charming and amazing. So it was like one of those places you'll never forget. You know, you go to these weddings, and listen, I'm not trying to knock a beautiful church. Okay. I got married in a beautiful church, but it's one of those where when it's a church, you're in the church, it's nice, but they kind of all blend. You go to so many weddings, you can't remember which wedding you went to, which church it was. This is one you're going to remember. They said their own vows, which was great. I got to be honest, the whole thing was amazing. During the day, one day we went into the town, we had lunch. Then there was a little wine tasting place. We went with great friends. Such a great time. I recommend people going to that part of California or going to wine country and going into the towns where you could do wine tasting and all that. totally great. Shout out to Cereal Wines, which we went to, and it was really amazing. The wine tasting was awesome, and apparently you can only get it if you go there or get it online. But check out that place. No, they're not paying me to say any of this stuff. So it was a great all around wedding. It was cool, man. People had their, like, another thing, they had people that they let people bring their dogs to their wedding, which normally you could think was a disaster. And the dogs were chill, man. A couple French bulldogs hanging out. Themeles has his little dog. She was hanging out. At first, you're like, dude, this is going to be like and they're going to be tugging on women's dresses and shit. No, it was nice. These dogs were well behaved. It was almost like they knew they were at a wedding. So and shout out, let's be honest, shout out to Andrew's wife. She's the one who planned it. So no, she planned it. You know, Andrew's not, no offense, Andrew, I love you to death, but you know, you're the Beverly Hills Kid. You're the Beverly Hills Kid producer extraordinaire. You're not a wedding planner. And here's the thing. I don't know if he's going to be comfortable with me saying this, but he's my producer, so he could cut it out. He could cut it out if he doesn't like it. Andrew, obviously this podcast is pretty much mainly dedicated to you and your lovely new wife. And I know you're going to be listening to this because you edit this. So if you want to take this part out, you can take this part out. But I'm going to say it because I think it needs to be said. Andrew is a class act. So Andrew said, listen, man, if you guys could make it to, 3 hours north of LA to be in wine country at the wedding, we don't want gifts. We don't want gifts. Very classy thing to say. He's very classy, nice, and he meant it. And he meant it. The fact that you're going to get in a car or you're going to fly and then get in a car, they were so amazing about it. But this goes to you cheap fucks. Okay? This goes to you cheap people, because I know some of you people listening to this are like, hey, no, they said no gifts. Listen to me. Listen to me right now. Okay, this is a Virzi Effect exclusive here. You guys know. You go to a wedding. I don't care if you drive 5 minutes down the street to the wedding, or you got to get on a plane. You got to go to Alaska. You got to go to Antarctica. You got to go to Indonesia. You got to go to Australia. Wherever you got to go, whatever you got to do. I don't care. Bride and groom says no gifts. You show up with cash or a check, period. Okay? These people got married. These people are starting a life. These people are spending money on the event. Okay? Now, it's very classy and nice of them to say no gift, and they meant it. Like when Andrew saw me with an envelope, he was like, dude, what are you doing? You can't do it. So I took care of it with the wedding planner. But here's the deal, dude. These people that take that literally, they're cheap and they have an excuse. So the only thing that I disagree with that Andrew did is he gave cheap pieces of shit an excuse to go, well, what do you know? Well, it said it. I mean, we drove. I mean, we were there for support. No. You show up and you give cash or a check. Okay? Cash or a check. And if you want to know wedding money, let's talk wedding money. If you showed up to a wedding with a gift that was cash or a check, and it was under the absolute minimum where you shouldn't show your face if it's lower than 150. And that's for people that are kind of like, hey, man, I did the best I can. And I get you that. You go 150, don't show up or buy your own dinner. Do something. Okay? Here's what you do. It's got to be multiple hundreds if you love the person. It just has to be. And it's got to be multiple hundreds if you love the person, even if they say they don't want anything. That's it. That's just really what it is. Okay. If you listen to me right now, I'm being dead serious about this. I'm sure me and Bobby will talk about this on Bone to Pick as well. If you show up to a wedding, okay, if you show up to a wedding and the gift idea that you and your significant other had was $50 and a card, you're I don't want you to be hurt, because that's a heavy thing. but like you're the type of person that needs to like have like your car gets scraped on the way home. Like karma needs to, this is what happens, needs to happen. You give $50 to a wedding. Oh, we gave 50. We had a good time and you danced. You should be parked like where you're parked in the hotel. The next day you should see a giant dent because the car next to you just flew their door open, and it's just got the gods of life going, no, that's karma. That's karma. So you only gave 50, but now this is going to cost you at least 250, 300 to get the dent out and get new paint. That's what needs to happen to somebody like that. Okay. I always say, like, hecklers at a club, like drunk women who like yell, like, I don't want them to die or get hurt in a car, but a little fender bender, scared, emergency room, little band-aid on the forehead so they remember. It's the same thing if you do that at a wedding. You don't give $50 or $75 at a wedding. You don't even give $100 at a wedding. If you either get them a fucking toaster, okay? If you want to do the cheap shit, you get people a toaster. And by the way, I'm not saying this as some big shot with money. I'm saying this as somebody who respects the people that I love and I want to do the right thing. And that's what everybody should do. And I'm sure if you listen to my podcast, you know this. If you listen to me rant, if you listen to me and Burr, if you listen to me and Bobby on Bone to Pick, you hear me rant like this. You guys know. And if you know me, you know I like kind of expensive, nice things if I can do it. I like white leather. I like the things like that. So if I couldn't give a certain amount of money, I'll show up. I give them a toaster. I'll give them a what is it? The Keurig machine, whatever, the coffee shit. I'll do that. I'll get them something that's on their list. If I was broke and they had a list, I'd find maybe one of the cheapest items, but still say, hey, this is what you wanted. And I could at least show my face. So when I do the fucking Macarena, I don't feel like I'm stealing from people. That's the difference. Okay. You either give them a toaster, a coffee maker, candlesticks, whatever. Candlestick got to be brass or crystal, by the way. You can't show up with like Target candlesticks. You show up heavy brass, heavy crystal candlesticks if you go that route. But if you don't go that route, you got to show up with more than 150. Absolute minimum to show your face in the building, to not be embarrassed or laughed out of the place. I mean, 150 is broke shit. Okay? And I'm talking about when I was broke. When I was broke, it was 150 or more, always. Broke. Okay. And I'm not some crazy rich dude, but you got to go heavy with somebody that you care about. So the moral of the story, I know I'm being long-winded here. The moral of the story is you get invited to a wedding and they go, no, just bring yourselves. We're happy to have you. No, doesn't happen. Doesn't happen. You show up and you show up heavy. That's what you got to do. All right. There was no chance in hell that I wouldn't have done that for my dear friend and his beautiful new wife. Everybody looked great. Everybody was great. And there you go. Well, the kid's Greek. So it's like, kid's Greek. So his parents it was so funny. I was talking to his parents and his mom is Greek and Italian. Like I'm Greek and Italian. His dad's Greek. Lovely people. And I was talking to him and I was like, yeah, no, Greek and Italian. And they lit up and we started talking and they were like, well, it's so nice to talk to you now. And I'm like, yeah, well, we're the same. And then I just joked. I go, listen, just better people. And they got a kick out of it. So shout out to them. It was a great time. So there you go. That's the first solo story that I've told on a podcast by myself in a long time. So we just went old school with the solo TVE, and I hope you guys enjoyed that. It's nice too, man. Like another thing that I wanted to talk about. It was really nice to be with my wife away for a weekend. I'm traveling, I'm running around the country, I'm doing this tour, I'm working this new hour, and I'm having a great time doing it, man. I really am. But you leave the wife and kids for a couple days out of the week, and then you're traveling and you're doing all kinds of stuff to promote for stuff. And it was nice to just slow that down, be with my wife in a beautiful part of California. I hadn't drank in 60 plus days. And I had some drinks with my wife. I'm back on the diet now, but it was just nice to just be with her, have a great time with my wife. We drove in this Jeep Wrangler Sahara up and down the coast. By the way, that 101 drive If you're ever in Central California or wine country, take the 101 down. It's a little longer than the other way, but you're just driving down the coast, seeing the waves of the Pacific Ocean, hitting the rocks and seeing restaurants. We stopped at Santa Barbara to grab a drink, and it was awesome. It was really awesome. But funny story, we had to fly back Sunday night and we had a red eye. And the plane was supposed to take off at 10:55 p.m. back to New York at 7:30. We're delayed a little bit, but we get to the airport 2 hours early and we go to the Delta Sky Club and we're just sitting there and we're having some drinks and we're drinking some wine and we're talking about how great the weekend was, how great the wedding was. We're, snacking on some food. Finally, we board the plane and we didn't eat a lot, but we were a little buzzed. And my wife, once the plane takes off, my wife's like, I don't even think I'm going to stay up for dinner. I'm just going to. They had choices for dinner. They had 3 meatballs made by Johnny and Vinny. I'm not joking. They were called on the menu, on Delta's menu. It was Johnny and Vinny's meatballs. 3 meatballs, all that. And then the other was a Caesar salad with chicken. So I'm kind of full. I drank some stuff. We snacked. Not crazy full, but I'm on like 3 o'clock in the morning mentally, almost midnight. My wife is out cold, fucking spooning a pillow, fully out, laying down in the bed and on the plane. And it's dark in the cabin. And the flight attendant goes, "Do you want dinner?" And I didn't need it. I was buzzing. And I go, "Yeah, I'll take Vinny and Johnny's meatballs and a Prosecco." And 90% of the cabin is out cold sleeping. It's almost 1 in the morning, 12 something in the morning. And it's dark in the plane and it's dark out, obviously dark out. Everything's dark. And this guy gives me, in the dark, I'm eating 3 giant meatballs. I'm pounding a Prosecco. No reason. The weekend's over. The weekend is over. There's a little garlic bread. Let me dip that. Eat that shit. I'm eating garlic bread. Then there was a little soft bun for butter. I eat that. I start eating the salad. I'm slugging this Prosecco. Now I'm full. I'm bloated. I feel like shit. It's 1 o'clock in the morning and I try rolling over sleeping. And all I did was toss and turn like an asshole because I'm in first class and they're giving meatballs. I can't say no to that shit. I'm not going to say no to fuck it. Dude, you give me a meatball on Mars, I'm going to fucking try it. You give me a meatball on Mars, I'm trying it. So, my suggestion, I guess this is an educational podcast on travel. Don't eat the midnight meal on a red eye in first class just because you can. Or you could wake up after a few hours and then have it. But I ate all that shit and it was not good. Let's just say when you have to sleep, I was granted I could lay down, but when it's this big and you got to toss and turn and you got a gut full of meatballs and garlic bread, and then we wake up. The worst is when I finally started to get some sleep. They turn all the lights on in the cabin. "Sorry, folks, time to wake up. We're on our final descent to New York. Please put your tray tables up and your seats in the upright position." And I'm just going like, "Oh, dude, I'm a mess." And I had to do all kinds of podcasts the next day. But I'm not complaining. It was amazing. And I had such a good time and I can't wait to sleep for most of this weekend. No, this Memorial Day weekend. Shout out to everybody. My son's birthday weekend. Shout out to all the crazy Geminis who are literally 2 people. Don't say you're not. It's the only thing in that made me believe in the whole astrology and signs thing. If you met a Gemini, dude, if you have met a Gemini and a Gemini is in your life, you know that that's real because Geminis are 2 people. You love them to death, but oh, they got another side, don't they? Oh boy, they got another side. So I don't even know how long I've been going here for, but this is a new solo. Got my I don't know why. I got a hoodie with buttons. I don't know why. And here, you want me to admit to you where I got it? I got this one in Old Navy because I was walking in the mall with my daughter and I was like, I need a long sleeve t-shirt with a hood. And so I was like, hold on a second. So I run into Old Navy and I said to the lady, you guys don't have like long sleeve t-shirts with hoods? And one of the girls working there goes, no. And the other one goes, yes, we do. Please take them off our hands. We hate them. And I was like, why would she say that? And then I saw the 3 buttons and I realized why, but I needed it. So what can you do? Now, and my daughter goes, it actually looks good on you, Dad. You look good with the 3 buttons. All right, I got to talk a little bit sports here. I just want to say formally to the Virzi Effect listeners, and I haven't been able to do this alone, and to the Knicks fans and everything. What a great year for the Knicks. I'm totally thrilled by their direction. Jalen Brunson, amazing. We do have to get a shooter, but I got to tell you, this Miami Celtics series lets me know that maybe the Knicks were the second best team when they were firing on all cylinders in the East, because we beat the Celtics. I know it's only the regular season, but we beat them 3 times out of 3. Magic Johnson said they were not a good matchup for us. And now you see that we beat Miami a couple times in this series, and Boston's having a really hard time with them. So what a great year for the Knicks. It was so cool to watch. It was so cool to bring my son to the Garden. It was so cool to watch it. And I think the future is bright. So I don't think I sound like a delusional Knicks fan. One thing I will say is if there's a silver lining of losing, it's knowing what you need. And I think it's clear that as much as Randall is a great Knick, his attitude and the way he gets when things are down could be a problem. So that's one thing that you learned. Another thing you learned is that we need a bona fide shooter. The Knicks need a sniper. They need somebody like Miami Heat that have 3 or 4 of these guys that just behind the 3-point line can just drain it, because that's what the NBA has become. But great series for the Knicks. This guy Joker on the Denver Nuggets is something I never seen before. I've watched this guy all playoffs. I think I've seen him miss 3 shots. I've never seen anything like this kid. I think Denver wins it all. I think they're underrated. I think they're being overlooked. I think they still don't get the respect that they deserve. And I think this Joker kid is one of the best basketball players I've ever seen. I'm not even joking around. No pun intended. So that's what I'll say. I think it's going to be, I do think it'll be the Nuggets and the Heat. Unless the Celtics do something miraculous. And I think the Nuggets can beat them, man. I think the Nuggets can beat them in 6, maybe 7, but I think the Nuggets win the NBA title in 6. That's my prediction here. And I'm not saying that just because everybody that came out to see me in Denver at the Comedy Works was incredible. But I can tell you this, and I know some people will be upset with this, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm saying from my experience and what I've seen, 2 of the best comedy clubs on planet Earth. Okay? There's 2 comedy clubs on planet Earth that I think are going to be insanely tough to beat, and I think they can only be modeled. And that is Joe Rogan's Mothership Comedy Club, which I had the pleasure of doing when I was in Austin. I just don't know how better it can get. And the Denver Comedy Works downtown. Those 2 spots are just so insanely perfect and built for this art form. I think everybody just needs to take note, put their pride aside, and do a model like that, because it's a perfect model for both the performer and the audience. And I really believe that. Shout out to the Denver Comedy Works. Shout out to Rogan's Mothership. Holy shit, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. So that's what I'll say. But there's a lot of great clubs that I'm learning about, like the new club in Raleigh, Good Nights. It's only 2 months old. I literally smelled the paint on the wall. They were doing construction. I was there. That's going to be a monster. There's so many great rooms. The DC Improv, great rooms. And I'm going to great rooms this week. I got to plug them again, guys. Next week, next Wednesday, May 31st. Okay, Wednesday, 2 days after Memorial Day, I am going to be one night only Helium in Indianapolis. The next night, June 1st, Cleveland, Hilarities, June 1. Get your tickets, get in there. June 8th, guys, I am doing a theater in northern Idaho. I know, I've never been there. I don't know what to expect, but I'm doing a theater at the Pineda Theater in Sandpoint, Idaho. Get your tickets, one show. Then the next night, which is the 9th through the 11th, Atlanta Punchline. June 15th through the 17th, the great Tampa Side Splitters, another top room in the country. Okay, then, and actually the Punchline in Atlanta is built perfectly for it. All the rooms I'm doing are great. And then I'm gonna be in Houston, June 28th, one show. And then I'm going to be in Addison, right outside of Dallas, June 29th at the Improv. Get tickets, paulvirzi.com. You could get tickets to all the shows. All right. And more shows are going to be added. We have the hour is going fantastic. Also, no COVID, guys. So I'm doing meet and greets. I'm doing meet and greets with everybody, taking pictures, doing all that shit. I'm not worried about COVID. COVID is done. So if you are a fan and you want to do that, people are asking me about merch. I'm not having merch just yet, just because how the tour is going, and bringing the merchandise was something that I didn't realize was, especially with doing one-nighters in between weekends. It's crazy to have all different kinds of shit. So we might just get the store. I will keep you guys posted on that. And please subscribe to Bone to Pick Podcast, a brand new podcast I'm doing with Bobby Kelly. We basically, how it came about was every time me and Bobby got together, people were like, dude, you guys got to do a podcast. You guys just gel together. You know each other so well. And Bobby would sit down and say something to me, and I go, you know what? I got a bone to pick with you. And he'd go, here we go. And he'd go, yeah, well, I got a bone to pick with you. And we would also start bitching at each other. Then we were like, what if we did a podcast like that? And then we started to take your guys' bones, which is shit that bothers you. So it was kind of like we took the unacceptable over there. You know, so you guys can bitch about what your bone to pick is. I have a bone, he has a bone. So we're doing a whole show on that, guys. It's going fantastic. 6 weeks in, we've had thousands of subscribers. We just launched our Patreon. Okay, so you guys will hear about that when you go and subscribe to Bone to Pick. Me and Burr are continuing Anything Better now. Our schedules are, we're putting out episodes. We're also going to be making announcements about live Anything Betters. And obviously the BetMGM thing is coming back. The Virzi Effect, please keep subscribing and telling people about it. We are almost at 10,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel since pandemic. And I want to double that really soon. So tell everybody about that. And of course, keep checking out Nocturnal Admissions. I have a big announcement coming up soon about my next special, or what I'm thinking about my next special. Nothing is done yet, because this special has only been on not even Netflix for a year. Nocturnal Admissions, it's doing great. Please share it and tell everybody about it. But I'm having some ideas about the next special, which I will talk to you guys about at a further date. But go to paulvirzi.com, get in the building, come and say what's up to me, man. Come and say what's up to me. I appreciate all you guys coming up and saying nice things everywhere that I've been. And I can't wait to continue to keep it rolling. I am not able to do this without you. You guys are the reason I go on tour. You guys are the reason that I am, paying my bills, because you guys show love and appreciation for what I do. And I want you to know that I show love and appreciation for what you do, taking your time out, going, getting a babysitter, coming to my show, and spending money. I know it's good money on a ticket and to drink. I know all that stuff. And I can't thank you guys enough for it. People coming up to me, talking to me about how I talked about mental health issues and how it helped them and what they went through OCD and depression and all kinds of stuff, man. It means so much, and it makes me want to just keep going and keep giving that to you. So thank you guys so much. This has been a solo for the first time in a while. 577. I think we kind of nailed it. Doing it alone again. But I love you guys, man. And the Virzi Effect listeners are the best. We're just going to keep growing and take over this shit. All right. Till next time, I am out of here. I love you guys. I will see you hopefully in studio with the guest real soon. Take care.